Most people assume that earthquake insurance covers everything after a quake, but does it? We're going to clarify in this video what's covered, what's not covered, and what surprises homeowners the most. So stay tuned. Okay, so here we have the earthquake insurance coverages listed here: dwelling, other structures, personal property, loss of use, loss assessment, and building code upgrade. And then we have an image here of a house that we're going to apply these coverages to this house here to better understand how earthquake insurance works with respect to these coverages. Now, before we go there, understand that earthquake insurance is required for these coverages to work. So if you have just a homeowner's insurance policy, homeowner's insurance does not cover earthquakes. Okay, it specifically excludes earthquakes unless you have a separate earthquake insurance policy, and in some cases you have an endorsement that covers earthquake damage in your homeowner's insurance. Then you have no coverage as a result after an earthquake, so you're going to be left to pay for it out of pocket. Coming back to the coverages here, now dwelling coverage, it applies to this house itself. Okay, so the actual structure of the home, that is dwelling coverage, and anything that affects the habitability of the home, and it's an entrance or an exit to the home, like the driveway, for example, that is part of dwelling coverage. What is not part of dwelling coverage is other structures. So if it doesn't affect the habitability of the home and it's not an entrance or an exit to the home, then it's other structures. What is other structures? This detached garage in this image would be other structures. It's hard to tell, but let's assume this is a detached garage here. This pool is other structures. So is this retaining wall here. It's also other structures. Now understand, this is for the California people. The California Earthquake Authority does not have this other structures coverage in there. And since majority of the earthquake insurance owners, probably 80% of the earthquake insurance owners in California are with the CEA, the California Earthquake Authority, they have none of this covered in their earthquake insurance policy. So you have to do the math here, is how much coverage are you losing by staying with the California Earthquake Authority. All right. They have a little bit of tricky. A lot of the policyholders with the CEA, they think there's something called extensions to dwellings, and they put that on the declaration page of the CEA. That is not other structures coverage. Okay, in another video we'll go through what that is, but just know that is not. You can look at the details of the policy to know what it is, or check out the other video we do for that. So that takes care of the other structures. Personal property is all the stuff you have inside your home. Okay, furniture, clothes, jewelry, breakables, appliances, electronics, anything you can pick up and walk out the door. That is personal property. I know it's hard to think of walking out the refrigerator in your hand, but that technically you could do it. So that's personal property. Loss of use. A lot of homeowners overlook this part. It's very important. This is additional living expenses that will pay for rent you pay elsewhere in a hotel or another home you're staying at while your home is being reconstructed after an earthquake. Know that it could take a very long time for you to rebuild after a catastrophe. The city is going to be backed up with permits. There's going to be a shortage of contractors. It's going to take a long time. Loss assessment pays for the common areas of the HOA. This is for people who own an HOA. It'll pay for the common areas of a HOA, the assessment that is assessed upon the unit owners for the damages, for the clubhouse or whatever other common areas of the HOA. And then there's building code upgrade. This pays for any upgrade that you do to the home to bring it up to code. You have to rebuild with the new local state codes. For example, if you were to install solar panels, they would, I think they require solar panels now for all the constructions. That is an upgrade if you don't have it then, and now you have it. So it'll come out of this amount, the building code upgrade. And lastly, this is not part of the coverage, but it applies to the coverage, is the deductible. So unlike homeowners policies, the deductible is a percentage. It's not a fixed dollar amount. So if you have a high deductible, you have to be aware of what that is. Okay, you may purposely have done that to keep the premium low, but many people, they don't know what their deductible is, and they're surprised that they're not going to get the coverage that they're looking for, so they have to pay out of pocket hundreds of thousands of dollars because they didn't pick the right deductible. So it's important to look at your coverages, okay, your declaration page, and we can help you do that if you need help with that. So let's look at now what is not covered in an earthquake. So pre-existing foundation cracks or settling, these are not covered by earthquake insurance, okay? The adjusters, they know how to figure what's previously been there, so they'll figure it out. Any pre-existing damage is not going to be covered. Flooding, it's a flood insurance. So if you have any external water coming in to your home, even after an earthquake, you have above ground pool, it breaks the pool, floods your house, that's not going to be covered by your earthquake insurance policy. Okay, so that is flooding. You have to have a separate policy for that. Fire damage is handled by your homeowner's insurance. It's not by the earthquake insurance. Even let's say the earthquake doesn't do damage to your home, but it breaks your gas line, it burns your house down. Okay, that is going to be the fire insurance that pays for it. Okay, so and that's why earthquake insurance, in order for you to get earthquake insurance, even if you get a standalone policy, they require you to maintain homeowners or fire insurance for that property. So it's one of the reasons. Well, there you have it, folks. Those are the things that are covered and not covered in earthquake insurance policies. If you'd like to learn more, go to our website or earthquakeagent.com. We have a learning center with full of information you could go through, or you could request a quote on the website, or give us a call today.